Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. You can call me Kai, and this is my crafty corner of the internet where I talk about mostly cross stitch. And today we're back with another floss tube update video. So I have 4 projects to show you today, and one of them is a finish, which I'm really excited about. If you've been following along with me for the past few months, I'm sure you can probably guess what I'm talking about. But then I've got 3 other whips to show you and no new starts. So it's going to be a little bit of a shorter video this month, but that is okay. We'll go ahead and start with my finish that I'm really excited about. This is my Enchanted Ornament stocking by Dimensions Gold Collection. I started this project on April 7th, 2025, and here is where it was at last time you guys saw it. And as you can see, I was really close to finishing it at the end of September. I couldn't quite get it done, but thankfully that meant that I was able to actually get it done in October. So after 6 days of stitching on it in October, I finally finished it. I know, I'm so excited. Okay, so I'll bring it in just a little bit closer so you guys can see. This piece of fabric up here is just to cover up my name for privacy, because if you can believe it or not, Kai is not my actual name. So I stitched my actual name on the stocking and I'm just covering it up for privacy. But this project took me 83 days to stitch. And the majority of it was stitched in September, from September through October. I was really trying to get it finished as quickly as I could, because it was kind of a pain to read the chart. Now, I have worked with Dimensions Gold Collection projects before. In fact, I finished one last year, the Japanese Garden. You can see that in my very first floss tube episode. I showed it there. And I'm currently working on a Gold Collection Petite kit. So I'm not really a stranger to reading those charts, but for some reason, this chart was just so hard to read. So like up here, these leaves, every single one of these green colors was a green colored symbol. And so it was really hard to parse that information. Like one of the symbols was like a green infinity sign next to like a green uppercase M, next to a green uppercase G, next to green dollar signs. Like they were all very light, thin symbols, and they were all green and they were all right next to each other, and it was so hard to parse that information. And then down here, one of these colors, so this in this leaf here is technically the same color of green, but there are half stitches and full crosses right next to each other, the same color of green, 2 different symbols, but the same number of strands. So while the symbols themselves were actually pretty easy to parse, like one was a heart and the other one was like some other kind of symbol, I can't remember right now, but it wasn't hard. Well, it wasn't hard to read the chart for that. It was kind of hard to see the stitches on the fabric, like, okay, so was this intentionally a half stitch or did I just forget to cross a full cross? But it's all done. It was, like I said, really hard to read the chart, and I'm absolutely like 100% ecstatic to be done with this. I still need to wash it and then obviously fully finish it into the stocking, but I'm gonna wait to do that until December because I kind of burnt myself out on the stocking. I need to take a little bit of a break from it. But I do plan on getting it fully finished before Christmas. That way I can actually use it this year. So yeah, now we'll get right into my whips. The next project that I have to show you is June Blooms. charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Margaret Morales. I started this on April 24th, 2025, and I'm stitching this 1/1 full cross on 25 count pre-gridded Lugana. Here is where I was at last time you guys saw it. And after stitching on this for 18 days in October, here's where I'm at now. I finished page 2. I know. I'm really happy and excited about that. So I did a total of 3,988 stitches to bring this up to 16,088 total stitches and 7.73% complete. I'll bring it in just a little closer so you can see more of the details. I am so excited to be working on this project again. It is absolutely like just so much fun to stitch. It is really full of confetti. Like I think that can be true of like all Heaven and Earth design charts, but I truly don't mind stitching confetti like that. I don't do parking. I fully start and stop each stitch, so including confetti and like singular stitches. So it does kind of slow me down when I do that, but then I can get into some like more blocks stitching. Like down here was definitely, I think there was just like 3 symbols in the majority of these last 3 squares in this corner, so that stitched up like really, really quickly. And then, yeah. So I think what I'm going to do now is, I find that with my Lowry stand, I really don't like working close to the right edge of the hoop because my clamp is on that side. And it's just kind of awkward in my stitching chair to have my hand like that. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move the hoop over and work on page 3 and 4. So anyway, with the way that I'm stitching this, I'm kind of using my own page markers. So my pages will be 8 boxes across by 10 boxes down. And doing it that way means that I technically only have 5 pages across the top. Yeah, so I will move my hoop over so I can get page 3 kind of over on this side of the hoop, and I will keep going from there. So it'll be exciting to see where I'm at this time next month. And then the next project that I have to show you is Overlook Cafe by Dimensions Gold Collection Petites. I started this on June 6, 2025, and I'm stitching this with all of the included kit materials, so the 18 count white Aida and all of the dimensions threads. Here is where I was at last time you guys saw it. And I did not do a whole lot of stitching on it this month, but I did get to pick it up once. So after 1 day of stitching, this is where I'm at now. I think pretty much all I did was just one strand of dark brown and kind of like this area, and that was it. But this is strictly a travel piece, so I only stitch on this when I'm outside of the house and I can't take June blooms with me. So it doesn't get to see a whole lot of progress each month, but that's okay. I'm finding that I really like having different size projects for different kinds of stitching. So like a really small one that I can just keep in my lap is the perfect thing to stitch on car rides or when I'm out at the coffee shop. But since I'm currently part of an active stitch along that I'm trying to keep up with the releases on, I'm actually taking that out of the house with me when I do my weekly out of the house craft night. So I have not been taking this one with me very often, but I did, like I said, stitch on it once. I will probably stitch on this more once my stitch along is finished, but we'll see what happens. The next project that I have to show you is the Twigs and Tea Stitch Along by Fine Frog Stitching. I started this project on August 18th, 2025, and I'm stitching this on 18 count marigold fabric by Dyeing for Cross Stitch. here is where I was at last time you guys saw it. And after 7 days of stitching on it this week, or this month, here is where I'm at now. So I am, again, completely caught up to all of the parts, which is impressive because the last part that was released was the cake in this teapot or teacup over here. That was released yesterday, October 31st. So I managed to stitch all of that last night, which is impressive. So I managed to stitch like all of that last night so I could have, you know, like the finished thing to show you guys this morning. So in October, I did 1,689 stitches, bringing this up to 7,594 total stitches. So yeah, this is a currently ongoing stitch along. And we've got 5 more releases total, 4 of them in November, and then there'll be 1 more on December 5th. So I'm going to continue trying to keep up with it. So far it hasn't been too bad. I've pretty much been able to stitch everything like within a couple of days of release. If not, finish it on release day. So it's been fun. So I am excited to see what we'll be stitching on this month. So looking ahead to November plans, I think November is just going to be a very chill month. I'm not planning on starting anything new. Just going to continue working on June blooms and then keeping up with Twigs and Tea and maybe pulling out Overlook Cafe if I can. But we'll see what happens. So yeah, things are probably going to be very calm and chill, and frankly, I kind of would like that. August and September were like a huge frenzy trying to get that stocking finished. So I could have, you know, so I could go back to only having 3 whips, because I find that that's my sweet spot. That is my sweet number. And they all have to be like different kinds of whips. So I have like 1 giant project, 1 active stitch along that I try to keep up with, and then a small travel piece. Like that is my magic stitching combination. That's what makes me happiest, that makes me feel the least amount of stress. So yeah, don't have any plans to do any new starts. I know when I started the year, I had wanted to also stitch up the Dimensions Santa's Truck stocking kit for my spouse's Christmas stocking, but frankly, I am very burnt out on Christmas stockings. So that's probably not going to get started until next year now. So yeah, that's really all I have for you guys today. Like I said, it was a very short video. Kind of happens when you have a small number of whips. But I was still able to make like quite a bit of progress. Like I absolutely was not expecting to finish page 2 on June blooms, but at the start of last week I was like, oh man, I'm actually like 1,000 stitches away from finishing page 2. Let's see if I can do that. And then I stitched like 558 stitches on one day, and I was like, yep, okay, yep, we're totally gonna get page 2 finished for my floss tube episode. Don't know if I'll get another page finished next month, probably not, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, and I think like looking ahead into 2026, I'm not going to get into too many plans because things change all the time around here, but I think I'd like to get the top row of pages done on June blooms sometime during June of next year. Just because like I would be, well, technically it would be over a year since I started if I get those finished in June, but it'd be close enough to like finish the top row of pages by the year anniversary. I think trying to aim for that by April 24th would be too much. Because I've got it calculated out where if I were to do at least 100 stitches on June blooms a day, then I should absolutely be able to get the top row of pages all done by like the middle of June, which I'm perfectly okay with doing. So, and 100 stitches a day on that is very doable. Like I can actually get that knocked out over a nap. So, like I said, that's kind of a soft goal that I'm aiming towards this time around. If it happens, fantastic. If it doesn't, oh well. So yeah, that's everything I've got. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you had a lovely day. Please take the time to be kind to yourself and do something for you, and I will see you guys back here next time. Bye friends, happy stitching!